Hello, another IAFM podcast, long overdue. It's in a minute, and I'm super, super stoked to actually kind of get back at it. We're here with KidGinseng, aka Robin, our friend here that we met through several mutual friends, right? Shout out to PJ as well as Bisco Smith.
That's right, PJ Pitcher and Brad. PJ's the one who hooked me up with you. That was really nice.
He was.
I saw Brad do his painting demo at his alma mater high school. You guys must have been there.
That's where I met you for the first time.
Yeah, we were there. We must have been the only adults, older kids there.
Yes.
But I had to go because I owe Brad a little bit for his influence on myself and John Beal. I battled Brad in a DJ competition in '97.
Oh my God, I love it. So
I owe Brad a bit of taste making. I think I met him in '94, but I owe him a bit in taste making because John Beal and I'll tell you his DJ name, whatever, later, but John Beal and I had his cassettes, his mixtapes, and we were really excited about them. I remember the first one and the second one, we were really excited, and that kind of like opened up that opened up possibilities for us on what you can do, because I turned into a professional turntablist.
I love it.
That's wild.
That's
and
awesome.
How old were you back then? 97. How old were we back then? We were teenagers,
I was 18.
right?
I was 15.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And as you know, and I told you, Brad's one of my best friends in the world. He's godfather to our son, Angelo. So I love how Fairfield always somehow comes,
Full circle.
360, full circle,
That's really beautiful that Brad is connected to your family. That's really beautiful.
Oh my gosh. Yes. They're, Brad and Jazz and Benjamin, they're very close friends of ours to they are family to us. And, I love that. My great friend had some influence on you in a positive manner, especially in the 90s, but I don't know how positive we were in those days. But...
Well, no one was that positive, but let's say we were more positive than the people in the movie Kids.
Yeah, for sure.
100%.
Yeah. I won't. Kids came out when I was a sophomore in high school. I won't. It was.
I was like in 6th grade, I think.
Yeah, isn't that? Yeah. The math works out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a really excellent movie on what not to do.
I mean, it scared the pants out of everybody, I think.
Scared everybody. No, but I think that was what the writer and the director wanted, was to scare people to say, don't do this.
Yeah. It
Well,
worked.
it was just, listen, I mean, me and my friends were 14 years old, jumping on Metro North and skateboarding in New York City at 14. I don't know if I would allow my almost 14-year-old to do that, or we would allow our almost 14-year-old to do that. But thank you, Anna. This is Anna Sophia. Say hi to our friend Robin, Anna Sophia.
Hi, Sophia. Are you one of the kids?
He is one of the kids.
He's waitressing today, bringing me a cup of tea.
Yeah, I've got my coffee.
I've had a lot of coffee at shout out to Las Vegas.
I just started drinking the trendy mushroom coffee. No, but that's cool. You're going on the Metro North at 14. I started at 15.
Listen, it was awesome. I think back then, obviously, technology didn't exist. Really, I mean, not at all, if you really think about it, compared to the horrors of the world, if you will. Or our parents didn't, so they were kind of like, yes, of course, go to New York City.
Yeah. Well, my mother and father were New Yorkers, and so by the time you're a freshman or sophomore in high school, it's like, go live your life.
It is. And I think too, though, at least like my son and his friends are like super innocent compared to where like we were at when we were 14. So I'm incredibly grateful that they are still innocent children, at least as it stands today.
Yeah.
Freshmen.
Well, there's value in being innocent. There's also value in knowing what's going on.
Right.
Yes.
Awareness. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
And I'm the opposite. So I grew up in Peru. So when he talks about, we just jumped the metro and we went to New York, I'm like, I'm mortified. Like, like shaking in
Yeah,
my
but you were
pants.
also going to nightclubs at 15, so you don't really have a lot of space.
But I wouldn't like. There were certain things like I still look over my shoulder when I'm just walking down the street. Like
I only know one Peruvian, and I think she's down there right now. And she's been there through the whole pandemic.
Oh, very, yeah. And they
Yeah.
did, like, within the last like 18 months, 2 years, have like finally kind of relinquished a lot of COVID rules, right?
it's relaxed
It's a lot more relaxed now.
Yeah.
Right. So let's talk. Obviously, you sent us your bio. I found it super interesting that you were born in the Bahamas.
How long did you live there?
The first 3 years of my life, and now I go back about every 2 years.
That's awesome.
That's
It
awesome.
is awesome. Bahamas is awesome. Like, the culture there is great. The radio, you just turn on one radio station, and they only have one, and
Yeah.
you get all the Bahamian music. And the culture is basically like, stay as long as you want, eat as much as you want, drink as much as you want,
Yeah.
because their only economy is the service industry of tourism.
Sure.
You can't be a farmer there because the ground underneath about 1 inch soil is just coral.
No way. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Really interesting.
because the islands in the Bahamas are not volcanic islands like Hawaii. The islands in Bahamas start off with coral, and then plants start growing on top of the coral.
Oh my God, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and then eventually there's a little bit of soil, but you can't raise any animals or anything. It's all about the tourist industry.
Now, how often do you go to the Bahamas? You said every couple of years.
About every 2 years.
And obviously you mentioned too that you were French American. So like being born in the Bahamas, being, part French American, like how did that culturally kind of shape you? Did that have any impact on you growing up?
Yeah. I got my mother and father music producers, and our apartment building is really close to a famous music studio in Nassau. And so I got really used to being around session musicians. So I got really used to working musicians, not necessarily famous, but working in the industry. So I got used to that.
I mean, listen, like for us, I totally understand that, like for me and my friends growing up, obviously, very obviously, like hip hop had a major impact on our youth.
It basically, I remember 1992 was when I first discovered the connection of skateboarding and hip hop, and it basically blew me away.
Well, I think the awesome thing with hip hop is like for us, we skateboarded, we wrote graffiti, myself, not all of my friends, but a good lot of my friends were involved in the hardcore and punk rock scene, and they all kind of intertwined and interconnected. And, it just like, one of my first cassettes that I got outside of DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince was Nas, the Illmatic album. And that was like, and to this day is still my favorite album of all time. I think Nas is the greatest.
I don't really want to start like rating the MCs, like who's the top.
Yeah.
I don't really want to start doing that, but yeah, like that's a gorgeous album. It's like beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it really is, but it's also just incredible how hip hop has such a and even hardcore and punk rock have such an impact on skateboarding and graffiti. And like I remember watching like graffiti videos with like KRS-One as the soundtrack to a lot of those and stuff like that.
It's like it was like we sought out the underground, and maybe kids don't do that now. Maybe kids are into like, I don't know, whatever Mac Miller or Cardi B or whatever the latest thing is. But we really sought out, and we were the 90s kids and the MTV generation. And so when we were young, it was like, are you a punk? Are you a raver? Are you a skateboarder? It was like, are you, I guess, heavy metal? But from what I understand, the skateboard soundtrack of the 80s was hardcore punk, and more the skateboard soundtrack of the 90s was hip hop.
Oh my God, no, for sure. And also, like I'm a big fan of The Cure. So I would definitely say like new wave music was definitely like, we still to this day, like Cal and I put on, what do you
The
call it?
safety dance.
Like the safety dance party on XM or whatever on Saturdays, and we'll start painting and stuff like that. But like, I love The Cure. The Cure was one of my favorites as well. And I think like we were very lucky to grow up in such a time that music it was just like everywhere. It's not the same as it is today. Like
Yeah.
music now is so manufactured, in my opinion, and there's no substance behind it in a lot of ways.
Well, I'll tell you what the difference is. The difference between our music in the 90s and the young high school music now is there's a wealth gap between musicians. Like in the 90s, you could be considered underground and have both an agent and a manager and tour the world and make a little bit of money.
Yep.
Now it's like you have poor people and then you have Taylor Swift. It's like there's nothing in the middle. And the reason for that is Napster around 2000.
Yeah.
That's the reason, because everyone started getting underground music for free. So it makes underground musicians basically feel worthless. And I feel like after that, it basically took like a few years to just vacate your mind of the self-esteem thing and just continue forward.
Yeah,
it did. And I think too, it's just like, and again, coming up in that time, like everything was DIY, You made your own mixtapes, you made your own your own zines, right? We called it back then, like your own zines.
Sure.
That it was super awesome, and it was
but even beyond DIY, if you got a little bit above DIY and you wanted to make some money, you had someone who could book you around the world.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, you could, like, I saw bands like at the Beanery. So the Beanery.
Yeah, I remember the Beanery. I played the Beanery.
The Beanery was the teen center in Fairfield at the time, Pella. And, I saw bands like Hatebreed there, who are now like huge. They're massive.
Well, Hatebreed just worked so hard that they eventually became mainstream.
Oh my God. Yeah. Jamie Josta definitely put the work in.
I know one guy who used to go to CBGBs with Jamie Josta in the early 90s.
It's wild. And it's such a different time now because, again, like, I don't even think we realized that how could you? Because we were kids. But at that time, like, we literally, in my humble opinion, lived in the last greatest generation of music. I mean, early 2000s had some great stuff come out as well. But I mean, I don't know if it's because we're old or is it?
You can talk to record label owners that are 10 years older than me, and they'll tell you the 90s was the last years of having fun.
For sure. Because everything, it's like, it's hard. Like, I feel like, I don't know. There's just, obviously, I think we're all kind of noticing the generational gap of, of where we were. And it's just very interesting. Back then, you would just put music out. It didn't matter what people thought. You just did it. And if it rocked, it did. And if it didn't, then you just kept going after it until it did, right?
Well, music's not a great career choice. Like, we don't have musicians who want to try to make some money. We don't have children. It's not like in the 90s, you could rise from the underground into like MTV 120 Minutes or whatever. And then from then you might be a hit. Like there was all these layers. There was like underground, successful underground, and then there was mainstream, and then there was like having the hit on MTV. It's like, now I'm still in the professional musician world, and we've all lowered our expectations so much that what we're mainly concerned about is having fun with our friends.
Yeah. Yeah. Which and so what would you say, like, obviously, as someone who makes music, like, what was like your biggest influences growing up?
I would say when I got into music, my biggest influences were the turntablists who were entering DJ competitions.
Sure.
I would say that's what got me into hip hop. It's not like the MC lyricism my friends and I, we all appreciate lyricism. But what got me into hip hop was the technical aspect of DJing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So at a certain point, I lost track of rappers, and it was all about DJ competitions. That just same with John Beal. Like we fell in love with the sound of scratching, and
Yep.
MCs were not as big a deal for us.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. But it was like, I don't know. See, and I was on the direct opposite of that. Like, as someone who also listened to a lot of like punk rock and hardcore music, like lyrics were very important to me because I wanted to understand, like, there's so much power in music, right? And you're in that space, you're always against, you're going against the grain, right? You're fighting
The struggle.
the struggle. Bunch of kids from Fairfield in the struggle, right?
Yeah. Well, no, but it is enlightening, like to listen to Illmatic or listen to 36 Chambers. You realize that people have a harder life than you do.
Well, it 100%. I mean, gratitude is something I haven't learned until I was well into my 40s, and now I live in gratitude and such. But you don't realize it as a kid, and even as a kid who, you grew up in Fairfield, and I feel so fortunate that I grew up there. You're always trying to find the struggle, right? And it's like I saw a meme recently where it's like where it was like my son's complaining about his internet. It's like, all right, bro, let's just take out the garbage. We don't need to hear you.
Yeah.
But it's true. It's so true.
I remember the public library. We had a physical card catalog with the Dewey Decimal System.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
I feel like that's fine. I feel like all of that's fine. I feel like, I have a cousin who works in AI, and I don't want to talk trash, but like, I feel like the Dewey Decimal card catalog was fine, and we didn't. It's almost like technology has not made us happier.
No, technology is
difficult. Like it's just become
100%.
more challenging. Like even something like I miss the card catalog. I miss having going in there and like encyclopedias and researching things and like doing all, our son is like doing all this work in middle school. Now he's going to high school, and it was like, I'm trying to help him, but everything is on one screen, multiple tabs, click here, click in there. I'm like, don't you have a physical book that I can just sit with for a second and like, we can study together, we can do flashcards, we can do like all these things that we used to do growing up. And now everything is like, no, just look at the screen, look at this, click in here. I'm like,
well, apparently the quality of penmanship with students is going down because of
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't teach cursive anymore. They should. Anyway.
They don't teach cursive, really?
No, they really don't. I think they might have like one lesson about it.
Hopefully it's coming back. But yeah, it's a big thing.
Being someone who really concentrates on the actual craft of DJing, and I know that you're very much involved in electro. Is there any what does that mean? I'm just kind of like a very what's the word I'm looking for? Like I'm like I listen to hip hop. I listen to obviously new wave music. I love Latin music and all of these types of things. So when it comes to music, I'm kind of just like a very simple person. I know what I like, and that's kind of it. I don't understand the complexities of it or anything like that. I'm just truthfully like a fan of music that listens to it and enjoys it. Like, how is it from your perspective, especially when it comes into electronic music and things like that?
Well, from my perspective, electronic music is hip hop, but maybe separated from hip hop in the mid 80s when the MCs really started taking over. Like, if you ask somebody that loves, lyrics or whatever, if you ask them about electro, they'll be like, that's not hip hop. But if you ask a street dancer that does boogaloo or popping or whatever, they'll say electro is hip hop because it has those hard snares and those deep 808s, and they dance to it. I feel like in the mid I feel like in the mid 80s, MCing and dance music kind of separated. I feel like maybe Marley Marl and the Juice Crew in the mid 80s wanted to focus on MCing or whatever, and Big Daddy Kane wanted to do MCing, and Cool G Rap did MCing, and like Wu-Tang Clan. I feel like that. I like that stuff. I listen to that stuff, but I feel like Planet Rock and the Latino freestyle of New York separated from hip hop. I feel like the Latino music of New York separated from hip hop and went into the freestyle stuff.
Yeah, I got you. So I know you run a label called the Craft Jerks. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. Well, I started the name with my first mixtape in 1999. It was a mega mix. Fat Beats sold it, which was, do you remember Fat Beats?
Of course I remember Fat Beats, yep.
Well, they Eclipse, the owner of Fat Beats, really gave me a little break and started selling it. Anyway, 2007 is when I pressed the first vinyl for my label.
Very cool.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That's impressive.
It's not really that impressive. It's
Really?
but you could say commitment.
Yeah. There you
Yeah.
go. Well, that's what it all comes down to.
Yeah.
Anything. You have to be committed to it, and you have to be able to be willing to grind it out, because even the things that we love is work.
Well, you know what they'll tell you? In music, once the music's done, then the work begins.
Mhm.
Fair enough. Well, yeah.
Because I know musicians that are insanely talented, and all they want to do is the fun part, which is the music. Like for people like me that have been doing music for almost 30 years, music's easy. Like, it's so easy for us to do music, and everything else is with the music business is so hard.
Mhm.
Well, it's the complexity of it, right?
Yeah.
And because at that point, once you create the music, you got to market it.
Yeah, as
And
best you can.
I will say, in a modern age, I think the cool thing about living in a modern, like, internet age is that you could put your own music out on your own. You don't need you don't need to rely on major labels and stuff like that. You could work with a small label, and between YouTube and TikTok and Instagram and all these different avenues, you could be really, really wildly successful.
Well, I think a lot of that is fine, but I think the generation now of people in their 20s who go straight to Spotify releasing their music,
Sure.
they're not very they're not as audio conscious as they should be. Like, their music does not have how should I say? It sounds very software, and it doesn't have the decibel spectrum that maybe music had 20 years ago, like or 30 years ago. Anyway, like I'll be really nerdy. The spectrum of decibels of the lows and the highs on Spotify is 12 decibels.
Okay.
So you get 12 decibels going down of the lows and 12 decibels going high of the highs or the mids.
Yeah.
And I like the way Spotify sounds. It's pretty good. I have 20 artists on Spotify. It sounds pretty good. But there's a lot of people coming out now, and they've never been told what good production is. They've never been told what a good drum machine is. They've never been told what a good mixing board is. They've never been told this stuff. So they're working as hard as they can at a young age, but they might have not really like cut their teeth on having good machines.
Yeah. So to that point, how do you feel?
Does that make sense?
Of
Yeah.
course.
So how do you feel like, since you started the label, you said 07 was officially when you started, right? And to today, to that point, how have the artists that are on your label, how have things changed for the good, for the bad?
How's it evolve?
How has it evolved?
That's a very interesting question. With the sound of electro, which is the Planet Rock sound, or you could say the Kraftwerk Numbers sound, because Numbers is a Kraftwerk song from Germany that came out in 81. And then Bambaataa and Arthur Baker heard it, and they made Planet Rock in 83. And then just the breakdance era just exploded. Anyway, my point is, electro at the record shops wasn't selling until 2016, 2017. So it was selling like in 2000, but then there was a gap of other genres, and electro started selling. So for me, I started to have more success in 2017, just because shops are shops, and the dance economy is what it is. And for 5 years, one genre might not sell at all. I remember in 2010, I was pressing some electro, and like there were times when you couldn't give it away.
Okay.
Really?
Like, yeah, it was really bad. So we had to do other things like house music. But
Yeah.
like in 2017, a new trend of electro came out, a new trend. And it doesn't necessarily mean like you're becoming a millionaire, but it means like people know who you are.
Right.
Sure.
Not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Especially when you want to get your name out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, with music today, it's not a bad place for getting your name out. It's not rocket science. It's not that hard, but like, yeah, getting your name out is okay now.
Mhm.
It's not that hard. With Spotify, it's not that hard to get your name out. Or what these young kids who put their music on Spotify need to try is Bandcamp so they can sell vinyl and sell downloads. And you'll make the profit margin from selling vinyl is so much bigger than the profit margin from selling on Spotify, from streaming on the streaming services.
Hey, Robin, I think we lost your camera. I don't know,
Yeah.
our end or your end. There we go. You're back.
There we go.
Things
Okay.
too, like I think my issue with streaming and as a whole, and that means from music to movies to TV, is that the new generation has lost the ability to really understand the advantage to own something tangible, right? How exciting it was to get, a cassette or a CD or a record and be able to be like, open that up and touch it and smell it and read the lyrics, look at the
Well,
photo.
actually, from middle school and even before middle school, I remember the smell of the cassette. What's called a J card, what goes in the cassettes. I remember the smell of the paper.
Yeah.
Yeah, like all those things, they leave memories for us, right?
100%.
And I think obviously vinyl's coming back
Reading the liner notes and everything. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and kids are getting more into it, but I think obviously great advantage.
I think for the young kids, vinyl's a good thing to do just for the profit margin. You can get a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you don't make a lot of money streaming music too, right?
No, in fact, from what I understand, to this day, I don't fully understand it. I try to understand it. Like, I'm an ASCAP songwriting member, so I try to protect my property. But
Yeah.
what I don't understand is that major labels, like the biggest ones like Atlantic or Sony, they have special deals with Spotify that underground people don't have any deals with Spotify. So like they have like some kind of system set up, which I don't understand, where they get these great deals where their streams really make money and everyone else is just to get your name out.
That's not fair. I'm just saying that.
No, it's not real. Spotify isn't
real.
the real thing. The real thing is gigs and downloads.
Yeah.
Not just vinyl, but downloads are important because the new DJs, actually, it's very typical to DJ on a Pioneer CDJ deck with a USB stick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The people that DJ on the Pioneer deck with the USB stick, they need you to have downloads.
Mm-hmm.
So downloads are a huge thing in dance industry. They have MP3s and waves. So downloads are big. Like in my little standards, I have made so much money on downloads.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's still
the system kind of a thing.
Yeah, downloads are still a big thing for dance music, maybe even bigger than vinyl. I don't know, but like Spotify for underground dance music is just to get your name out. Like my sister-in-law is in a synthesizer group called Xeno and Oaklander that plays to a lot of post-punk and the goth kids.
Okay.
And they're like at the top of the underground. They actually make money on Spotify, but the people below them, it's just like me, it's just to get your name out.
Yeah.
Right. It's visibility.
It's a vehicle for branding.
Once you're selling, let's say once you're selling 2,000 copies of vinyl and then tens of thousands of downloads, then the Spotify sort of catches up and you can make a little money on it.
Got it. Oh my God.
Now you mentioned too that you toured with the Tom Tom Club. How did that come about? Like, tell us what, you toured, where'd you go? Like, we want to know.
Well, that's a long story, but what I like to tell people is that I piqued their interest in 2000 when I won a DJ competition, and Brad was actually there. He was in the MC competition.
Right.
Okay.
Awesome.
But so that was 2000 for me. I won it, and it wasn't a large amount of DJs. Actually, I battled this one DJ who calls himself MR, and he got way further in the battle scene than me. I remember I found out he was in the US finals, so he beat all the regional stuff,
Yeah.
and he was in the US finals in 2009. So
Wow.
it was so yeah, my point is it wasn't like the most prestigious competition, but it was for underground standards, it was good. It was at the Arcade Mall in Bridgeport.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, the Arcade Mall. So for a high schooler, trying to boost your ego,
Yeah.
it's really good. But then the real, like the series competition is DMC, and then that stands for Disco Mix Club. So DMC is the high standard, which is what the guy I battled went up. I battled like 4 DJs, but he went up to the high league level.
Okay.
And what I did is I tried the high league level, wasn't too successful. Went to college for a year, only a year, and
Yep.
then and I couldn't I couldn't stand I couldn't handle the responsibility of college because I needed to focus on self-care.
Sure.
And then maybe like 6 months after I left college, and I didn't flunk out. That's the thing. I wasn't failing, but I had to leave, and I got the gig going on tour with Tom Tom Club in 2019.
So obviously, with you coming from this like electro hip hop background, and obviously the Tom Tom Club, they're very much like funk, new wave. Like, how did you integrate your style into them? Like, how did that kind of come about?
Well, what I had to learn was I had to learn not to overplay, which is what all pro musicians have to learn. Like maybe like when the band is playing, just put in a little scratch every 8 bars until it's time for your solo.
Right.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you might not even get a solo on every song. So like you really have to learn to not overplay. And I know the kids at music school learn that. And once you become a session musician, which is what I did, you learn to what do you call it? First, you learn a few things. You learn to not overplay, and you learn what the pocket is. So what you learn what the drummer is doing, and you learn to like stay deep in what the drummer is doing and not try to be Eddie Van Halen.
Do you find that like let's say you're playing with them like, a couple nights in a row or a few nights in a row. Do you change things up like night after night on how you play? Is it kind of like
no, we would always try to do the same 1 hour and 10 set, 1
Mhm.
hour and 10-minute set. We always tried to do the same thing, and sometimes we'd have to do a 45-minute set, and we try to stay faithful to that. Basically, we try to sound like it's a record, like it's a professional record. So if you're sounding like a record, then that sounds professional.
Well, I appreciate that because one of the things that I feel like when you're talking about how there's almost like a level of lost art kind of, and how we create music, produce music, what we look for, what are I say we musicians maybe strive for, and how like I always think back to in general artists and musicians from way back in the day, how their records weren't overly produced anything. It was performances, you know what I mean? And it was taken for what they were, and how they came out is how they were, put out on the record. And so nowadays I often feel like things are so overly produced, overly thought out, overly tweaked to the point where it's unrecognizable.
Well, that just depends on what school of thought you go into making a record with. Some
Right.
people want the whole band to play at once. and just multi-track it.
Yeah.
Some people want to build it like an erector set. Other people want to just kind of like make it sound like a concert.
Right. What's your
So I don't have a problem with overproduction. I think highly produced records have been going on in Germany since the 1960s,
yeah.
and America and the world didn't catch up with what the Germans were doing until the 80s. So most people in America, you hear the 80s as the first decade with synthesizers and edits and technology, right?
Yeah.
It's like everyone in the rock industry in the 80s caught up with the technology of what Germans were doing in the 60s.
Total. I mean,
So-
it's huge in the 80s, obviously. Like,
What's that?
I said, synth was huge in the 80s.
Yeah. Well, rock bands included it. And but it wasn't like it wasn't avant-garde anymore.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think that they're still ahead on some things?
You mean electronic music and synthesizers? Well,
From the German.
I would say a lot of people caught up with the German synthesizer music, which has been called krautrock. A lot of people caught up with it.
Never heard. Also,
Yeah, well,
Is that-
that's what it's called. There were a few bands doing it, like Cluster, Tangerine Dream, uh, Klaus Schulz. There were a few bands doing it, and Kraftwerk came out of that. And Kraftwerk didn't sound like they weren't being they were using restraint in the 70s.
Okay.
And with restraint, it means leaving a lot of space in the music and a lot of spaces in the drum beats where there's nothing happening, a lot of space. And so the krautrock of the 60s went into Kraftwerk in the 70s, having a lot of restraint, not overplaying, a lot of space in the music.
Mhm.
And then everyone in the 80s, like Arthur Baker and Bambaataa and Gary Newman and Human League and all these bands, they all caught up with Kraftwerk. Actually, people started catching up with Kraftwerk in the late 70s in England. So all this 80s pop music that you hear, like Human League and Depeche Mode,
Yeah.
actually started in the 70s. All those bands started in the 70s, hardly being able to afford equipment. And by the time of the 80s, they like another one is Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark, who had a song in the 80s movie Pretty in Pink. So Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark in 86 were getting mainstream exposure. But in 1979 or whatever, it was their early years of loving German music. So I would say the cutting edge went from Germany to England to the US.
Yep. Sounds
That's
like
what I
it.
would say.
Yeah.
And with that, and I don't mean to go too long on a professor thing,
No,
but some people don't know how far things go back.
but that's
Well,
the
yeah,
cool
you don't think
part.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
We start in our own realities and kind of move forward, but like, you have to think about what influenced everything that you actually love today.
So,
Well,
for
it's like every band was doing stuff 10 years before you've heard of them.
Right.
you don't even think about
100%.
that. And it's
Yeah.
I think also too, as as Americans, we love the underdog until they're not.
Okay. Okay.
And, it's like, oh, you love the big ones trying to make it, then once they make it, they're like, sell out, and it's like they got into it to do their thing.
Well, that's a punk thing. Like in the
Oh, for
punk
sure.
in the punk and hardcore. In punk and hardcore, there's a lot of hating on people that get on major labels.
But even like think about like Green Day and Rage Against the Machine. It's like, come on.
Well, there was a lot of hating on Green Day. I know about Green Day a little bit, and there was a lot of hating on them for getting a record deal because the other California bands they were playing with didn't even have record deals. So when they got a record deal, people started hating on them.
Totally. You went touring with the Tom Tom Club. What was your favorite tour that you did with them? What was your favorite city that you were in? Or
Okay, that's a really easy question.
Oh, I love that.
Definitely Tokyo, Japan.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my son is obsessed with anime, and I made
Yep.
it cool with him. I told him that when he graduates high school and he does well and he does the right thing, like I'm gonna take him to Japan and that's gonna be his graduation gift.
That's a big, big present. That's really super dope. Like, it is a whole experience. It is like a lot of Americans think of going to Paris as a big experience.
Sure.
And it is. And it is. It is. Because Paris is like the Disneyland for adults.
Right.
But if you go to Tokyo, it's another planet from the US.
Well, again, I only know that from like the internet, right?
But
Like,
it is. It's like when you go to Tokyo, it's like another planet and you are the alien.
Right.
for me, the expectations are high because it just seems like a very cool, magical place.
You'll love it. You'll love it. And your son is really gonna enjoy a neighborhood called Shibuya.
Yeah.
And that's like the sort of well-to-do hipster area where they have a lot of really cool shops.
Okay.
So it's like the young people area. So it's like it's pretty high budget, but it still has a young vibe to it.
Oh.
So like they have all the shops to get t-shirts and electronics and one thing they love in Tokyo is like American clothing and sneakers.
Oh,
And,
yes.
and CDs and vinyl, but they love American things. They love like American limited edition things. Like they love Nike sneakers.
Right.
And a few shops love my record label.
That's
so
awesome.
yeah. So they like really underground American culture. Like John Beal went to Tokyo just to have a shop, have a window display of his t-shirts.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's amazing.
I feel like definitely show appreciation for American culture. Like I just seen a reel where they have like a lot of like country bars where they do live and stuff as well, which I thought was pretty cool.
Well, they study everything. The Japanese study everything. Like if I'm ever feeling like low self-esteem or whatever, I can be like, the Japanese have been critiquing me for almost 20 years. Like I can make myself happy about that, because they really study. They study and they critique, and they take everything with entertainment. Like they take rock music as seriously as classical, and they take hip hop as seriously as rock music, and they just take it. They want things to be high quality, and they take the American high quality and they sell it in their shops.
That's awesome.
I think, I feel like also like just Japanese culture has it figured out.
They really do. Like if the whole world was Japan, it would be a better world.
100%. Like I saw a documentary on their prison system, and their prison system is literally meant to rehabilitate people back into society so they can be like positive, contributors to society, which I think is so awesome because obviously that is not the net goal here in the United States. And I thought that was like awesome. Well, we will recognize that the Japanese culture is definitely holding it down in the modern day.
Yeah. I mean, and they're respectful. They're so respectful. Like hardly anyone in Tokyo speaks English, but they don't expect you to speak Japanese. They're so respectful of you.
Which is the major contrast against Paris.
Parisians who have their designer jeans and shoes and stuff, they can be snobby.
Yeah. Oh my God, for sure. So let me ask you this.
But then you go outside of Paris and nobody's snobby. Everyone's a farmer.
Isn't that interesting? Because like we as Americans have this perception that French people hate us for being Americans. And then
it's not true.
which
It's not true.
is not true, and it's probably
No.
the opposite of their perception of us. They probably, they enjoy learning about our culture and whatever. So like being, you've been in the music industry since the 90s. You've been doing it. What's been your favorite collab to date?
Oh, you mean like working with another musician?
Yeah. And just in general, like what's been your favorite projects you've worked on? And
Well, it's been so long, but I will tell you that John Beal, who became a hit producer in the last decade of underground music,
okay.
he was basically from 2010 to 2020, we look at a lot of our scene as Bushwick music. It's Bushwick. It's the Bushwick scene. Bushwick is the capital of the world. People think in those terms. But John has been listening out of the Bushwick dance music scene. My friend John has been listened to millions of times. He has millions of streams on Spotify.
Awesome.
And there are people in Bushwick that you consider to be a legend who are selling just a cassette.
Yep.
So like we were joined at the hip from 94 to, let's say, 2001, and then maybe joined at the hip again from 2003 to 2010, and then maybe like losing track of each other, and then probably my closest musical partner, who we kind of cut our teeth and learned music production together. We learned music production by trial and error in his basement. So probably I've collaborated the most with John Beal, and you can find him on Spotify and all that as Entro Sinestra. ENTRO, the next word Sinestra, SENESTRE or something like that. You can find it. Entro Sinestra. So we did the most studying together.
That's awesome.
I love that. That's cool. You guys obviously have bonded over that, right?
Yeah, we're nerds. We learned how to study in high school, and we never stopped studying.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Stop learning.
I don't think anyone should ever stop learning in general. Yeah, it's like so important.
But like we studied DJing, then we studied music production. So like we didn't go to Full Sail. Full Sail, you guys heard of Full Sail?
No.
It's like a 6-month or 1 year program in Florida on how to do music production.
Okay.
And we didn't go there, and we learned stuff that the people who went there didn't even know. So like I think the term is autodidact, somebody that teaches themselves. So whenever you're any craftsman, like music is a craft. So like any craftsman can tinker and learn by themselves better almost than a school can teach you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all learn
trial and error.
Correct.
And the fact that like I only learn by doing and making mistakes and figuring it out that way, where I think some people like Pala, you have more of an innate ability to, like Pala could read a book, take a test on it, get 100 on it, no problem. I could read the same book, retain 10% of it, fail miserably, but in the same breath, I could watch someone build an engine 5 times and I could probably do it from memory. It's just
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So do you talk to PJ about Japanese cars or something like that?
No, I just use that as the best possible example I can give because like during COVID, I did a lot of projects that I normally would never do. Had to figure it out. So I just leveraged YouTube and just watched and figured it out. I did these things on my own. It also builds confidence, but if you can kind of grasp the idea that there is no failure, there's only lessons, I think it gets people a lot farther as well.
Well, it's like, I heard this, I'll paraphrase this thing that I heard about Thomas Edison. I don't think it was Einstein. I think it was Thomas Edison who said, every time my experiment fails, I just discovered a new reason why it wouldn't work.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. No, exactly. I mean, I do sales for a living, from a corporate perspective, and I call a lot of people every single day, and I look forward to hearing the word no, because for me, no just means that there's a yes closer. There's a yes somewhere blended in with all those no's. It took me a long time to get there. Don't get me wrong. I've been doing it long enough that it just becomes relatively natural. But you have to kind of buy into that idea. Failure is just learning. That's all it is.
Well, what Kevin Smith, who's a big suburban guy, everyone in the suburbs loves Kevin Smith because he really represents the suburban culture. Anyway, what he says about that, what you're talking about, what he says is failure is just a rehearsal for success.
Yeah. Kevin Smith is one of my favorite directors on the planet. I think I've read all of his books. I love Kevin Smith.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know I haven't read his books, but I know quite a bit about him through the years. Especially, I know that he owns a comic book shop in New Jersey.
Yep,
I know quite a bit of
Red Hook, New Jersey, or something like that.
That's right. I think it's called Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash, Private Stash, whatever it is.
Correct.
Anyway, I'm a fan.
Yeah.
I grew up in middle school. I grew up in middle school watching his movies, so I'm a fan.
Yeah.
And we're talking about Fairfield, right? So one thing that I'll tell you about Kevin Smith and the suburbs is he was trying to teach the world that the world of VHS tapes and comic books and stuff like that it's not like I'll try to say it another way. Like, I read the Beastie Boys book, and they grew up with access to culture, right?
Sure.
Okay.
But in the suburbs, we don't gain too much access to too much culture. So things like movies and VHS tapes and rare VHS tapes and video games and comic books and rare comic books, these are more important to us than they are to kids in the city.
Yeah. For absolutely sure. Yeah.
Like videotapes and comics are like a spiritual thing for us. It's more important than for the city kids have like everything at their fingertips. Like all the culture, all the international cultures, all the music, whatever. In the suburbs, we don't get as much. And so Kevin Smith and even Wayne's World will show you about the suburbs that what it is just because we don't have as much access doesn't mean we can't be intelligent.
Oh my God, of course. I mean, I could nerd out on Kevin Smith all day long.
He's super bright,
Yeah.
and Mike Myers in Wayne's World is super bright. And it's just saying that even though we like things like hockey and comics, it doesn't mean we can't be clever.
For
Right?
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love that. My friend Dave Schneider from the Zambonis, who I'll give a shout out to, Bridgeport.
Yes.
Of course.
I
Oh, you
love
know the Zambonis?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We
So
love Dave.
Dave is all about keeping every video game, starting with the Atari 2600, and loving all the hockey and loving all this old stuff. Like in the suburbs, it's not worthless to us. Like, it's spiritual. Like
Yeah.
comics and hockey and stuff, it's not garbage.
No.
Like it's spiritual to us, and that's what like Wayne's World and Clerks and Mallrats up
All that.
beyond. That's what that'll teach you. Like X-Men is not stupid to us. Like, we care about it.
They're little
It's true.
treasures. Like,
They
Yeah.
So do you?
Because we spend in the suburbs, we spend a lot of time in basements, and we don't have like cool stuff to go to as much, you know?
Yeah.
Well, that's like to say, I mean, we grew up going to parties on golf courses and beaches and random parking lots and, old Nike sites and such, where like Paula has no understanding of that concept because that didn't exist where she grew up. Like, literally
Yeah.
going out and rebelling was going to a nightclub or doing stuff like that. It's just a different way. She grew up in a city. It's just a way of growing up and kind of processing things, I mean, do you like being enjoying Kevin Smith? Like, do you listen to Tell Him Steve Dave at all podcast?
No, but I remember that guy, Steve Dade. He was like,
Yeah.
What is that his real name, or was that his character's name?
That was his line in Mallrats. Tell him
Steve Dade.
So Walt would be like, tell him Steve Dave, which was Brian Johnson. So Walt Johnson, Brian Quinn, which we all know as Q from Impractical Jokers. those are the three hosts of Tell 'em Steve Dave, which is part of Kevin Smith's podcasting network. Because Kevin Smith
so it's Steve Dave. I remember in
was in-
Mallrats.
was
there
in
there
Mallrats.
Tell
Yep.
him Steve Dave.
It was
because
one line. Yep.
like Kevin Smith and what is it, Jason Mewes, like they were ahead of their time in regards to podcasting. Like they were on the podcasting tip like in the 2007, 2008, 9 time. And
Okay.
obviously podcasting blew up. I mean, don't get me wrong. Who else was like a huge, there's like the godfather of podcasting, which I can't remember his name off the top, but also, what's his name? Who's the comedian that,
Mark Maron.
not Mark Maron, but, God, he was, partners with Jimmy Kimmel. They had like the Man Show. Why can't I think of his name right now?
Oh, what was that guy's name?
I'm
Adam something.
Adam Carolla.
Adam.
Yeah.
Who was like another one who was like super, super like, but Kevin Smith, like he was definitely a pioneer when it came to podcasting, which I thought was pretty
Well,
awesome.
Well, you people in the suburbs can get access to podcasting, and I feel like his whole vibe is like trying to not deny people in the suburbs an opportunity to get into the culture.
Of course, because what did we do as kids that grew up in, like most of my friends end up going to college in the city, right? Because they wanted to be in the city. You never wanted to say like, oh, I was from Fairfield, right? Because
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, in the city, you wouldn't talk about your suburban life.
And
Right.
people don't really understand. So it's like, even, oh, where are you from? Well, I'm from, Fairfield County, Connecticut. I'm from Fairfield. But what is that? Well, we're an hour outside of Manhattan, New York without traffic driving.
Sure.
Like, oh, okay. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Did Kevin Smith, talking about him, did he influence you in any kind of way as well, being someone who really appreciates kind of his ideals?
Maybe just to get a project done, like commit to a project from beginning to end, no matter what the cost.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause
I
that's
mean,
how he got
that's how he
started.
got started. And one of the
Yeah.
which I didn't know and I learned just because I'm a fan, is like, again, like he created like a chat board in like the late 90s, right?
Uh-huh.
And that's how Brian Quinn, wound up working with those dudes. He emailed Kevin Smith and was like, I want to be a part of what you're doing, or something
Well,
along those lines, which I thought was
I
pretty
remember
awesome.
forums were huge.
Huge.
You-
Yeah.
You would go on a forum, and then you would ask the person for their email, and then once you had their email on their email, you would ask the person for their phone number.
Yeah.
So forums were
I'm going to loan you a couple of Kevin Smith's books because obviously he's a great writer, but his books are pretty awesome. And his relationship with his father is pretty amazing. And if you read, like, in one of his books, when he talks about his dad and his dad's passing and stuff, oh my God, I was bawling.
Aw.
It's just such an incredible relationship he had with his dad. And his father was a result of his experiences with his dad. He fell in love with movies because that's what he would do with his father. That was kind of their connection. They'd go and see movies and stuff, which I thought
beautiful.
yeah, really beautiful.
Movies are big in my family. My parents watch films. They care about the music consultants for the movies.
Okay, fair enough.
So they really they care about the people that make films. They care about them.
Yeah.
So
So I guess you can say I'm a film person. I guess you can say, because
Yeah.
I watch the credits at the movie theater.
That's right. I was
yeah,
gonna
so do we. We
say,
stay into the end.
Yeah.
We definitely do. Were your parents excited about you getting it, like deciding like I'm gonna pick music as a career, or did they want you to be like,
No, what it was is
Okay.
they were so enthusiastic and so supportive about it before Napster killed record sales.
yeah,
So they were super supportive and super all through from age 10 to age 18, they were super supportive. So that's like 8 years of support. And after the whole Napster thing and CDs going down in price from they were $20 and then they were $16 and then they were $14 and then in the 2000s with the emo music they were like $10.
yeah,
The price went down, so the profit margin went down, and so basically like after Napster, they've basically taken sympathy with me. Basically taken sympathy that I don't have an agent and a manager.
Sure.
Because I would have had that, because if someone wants to research me, someone can say, oh, he's kind of world class.
Sure.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
But you're Robin.
Yeah.
Right. So
I'm never gonna be anything else.
that's
love
that's
that
my
guy.
philosophy in general in life.
Well, hey, if you know marketing people, maybe we can collaborate. I have no idea. I don't know. My marketing people are the DJ record shops around the world.
Do you, speaking of record shops, do you go to Vinyl Street Cafe?
I went maybe years ago, and they had rock records, and I like special records made for DJs.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So it wasn't exactly like meshing,
Yeah.
But
Like-
I know they've just started a new business, some business called Vinyl Street Company or something, and
Yeah.
they've rebranded. We're Fairfielders, so we can talk about Fairfield.
Yeah.
They've rebranded, and they have a new shop or something. So I'm excited to check it out.
Oh,
Yeah.
very cool. Yeah,
It's in
they're
the same spot.
they're
Well,
great
yeah, but
people.
they
We
did
partner with
rebrand.
them every Christmas, and we do they're part of our Christmas
Giveaway.
giveaways that we do.
Well, they're definitely on my radar.
Okay, so outside of obviously someone who's wildly immersed in electro / hip hop, is what other genres that do you like that would be like we wouldn't think you would be listening to?
Oh, probably post-hardcore,
Okay.
or like you could say emo before there was any industry, when it was still
Right.
So when you
What-
say emo, are you talking like the Smiths Morrissey or
No, I
something
mean
like Dashboard Confessional?
Stacia and Orchid and the shows where there's 30 or 40 people.
Yeah, sure.
I would say I like some of the miserable post-hardcore, the miserable, what they would later, in the 90s, they weren't even calling it Screamo, I know. But I started to get into it around 2002, right as Screamo was over. And metalcore started to take over. And they called metalcore Screamo, and they called metalcore emo, and it was neither. But so I kind of missed the boat on that. But I have friends, post-hardcore friends, and I love them, and we're still friends. But sometimes it's just miserable to stand in place and close your eyes and feel bad about yourself, because like I know the post-hardcore shows, I used to play a little synthesizer screaming music. So like I remember like for post-hardcore, there's no moshing. You just stand there and feel bad about yourself. And I kind of like that self-pity music, and I like that they're influenced by the English Romantic poets.
Fair enough. Okay, I can see that.
So they're influenced by William Blake, and then the later generation, John Keats, and then everyone knows.
Okay.
You guys probably know about Percy Shelley and Lord Byron.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Oh my God.
So the real serious emo music is like late 90s, and it's influenced by those poets. And if you read John Keats, it is just the sad, it's beautiful. The generic term for it would be melancholy.
Right.
Well, I think that there's beauty in pain, right?
Yeah.
And there's an appreciation that comes along with it. So like, Pal and I struggle too, right? Because In a Fairfield Minute is really built around our goal is we want to be a place of positivity, but also like when we just podcast ourselves, we have so many podcasts that we haven't posted because we talk about real life, and sometimes real life is not positive. It's not happy. It's hard and it's ugly, But if you could live through those times of sorrow and hardship and so on and so forth, you realize how actually beautiful life is, right? Like how awesome life is.
Well, back 20 years ago, I remember reading that the most miserable people in the U.S. were young white suburban males. So no matter how good I think post-hardcore sounds, no matter how good I think the lyrics are, no matter how good it is, I feel like it's just a pity party.
So let me ask you this. What's next? What do you got rocking for the second half of the year going into 2026?
Oh, okay. Well, when I make a podcast, it's not a talk podcast, it's only DJing.
Love it.
Okay.
So I just got accepted by a podcast in Leipzig, Germany, that they'll air my DJ podcast, which I took 3 weeks to make. I've taken 6 weeks to make a DJ podcast before, but I took 3 weeks to make this one, and that'll be out next week on SoundCloud. And I've got a vinyl that'll be in the UK and the European shops in November.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
You know, even though I'm not a big shot with a big record deal, I do have a distributor. I've always had distributors. Ever since 2007, I've always had distribution deals. So I got that. I just made a new turntablist song, which I can shop to my friends who you probably, all the Fairfield people who like music probably know WPKN.
Yeah, of course. Yep.
Yes.
We have a friend that works with them.
So I know many people there, and whenever I have something new, I try to get people on there to play it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, so I love PKN. I try to get people on there to play it, and then I do the international podcast. And basically I had a residency at a club that was known as a techno club, but I was playing electro, but it was known as a techno club called Bossa Nova Civic Club. So basically, like, pandemic happened, that was over. So basically, like, yeah, I'm like everyone's culture, the young people and the older people, is Instagram and YouTube and TikTok.
Yep.
So basically, like, during the pandemic, I adapted to people living on the internet.
Yeah.
So now I live on the internet. Like, Kraftwerk had a song called Computer World, and it was predicting that we would all live on the internet. Back in 1981, they predicted that our lives would be on the internet. So,
well, it's like reading 1984 and realizing, oh, that's a little scary.
I haven't read 1984, but I've heard of it. I know about, like, they eat something called Soylent Green. Is that right?
Something in it. Yeah, it's like, it's eerily creepy.
Well, what year was it written in?
It was written in 1949. That's when George Orwell wrote it.
Okay.
Originally published in, and I don't know if there have been other versions printed of it, but I mean, when I read it, I mean, ironically enough, I read it on a Kindle, so that.
Well, there you go. They made a movie of it.
Thought police, right? That's where you get the thought police, where they tell you how to think, and if your thinking's wrong, and so on and so forth.
And they made a ripoff movie of that with Christian Bale called Equilibrium.
That's
right.
Yeah, and that was very good. I love that movie.
As you enter into what we like, as we kind of come to the tail end of our podcast, we always like to ask really hard-hitting questions. What are you watching? What are you reading? What stuff like that? Like recommendation wise.
Oh, well, I watch cable like an old person, and I watch the History Channel.
Oh,
so I like to learn the history of food. I like to learn the history of the combination of marketing between action figures and cartoons.
Yep.
I still like, I love how people did campaigns to sell action figures. Like, I love that. Anyway, I watch a lot of News 12. Shout out to News 12. I watch a lot of News 12. I just started this new Lena Dunham show, the new one.
Oh, I didn't even know there was a new one.
No, there was a new one.
So there's a brand new Lena Dunham show from girls. There's a brand new Lena Dunham show called Too Much.
Too much.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
and I watched 3 episodes last night. It's so entertaining. So entertaining. Like, I've been in New York nightlife for over 20 years, and I'm out of it now, but I was. And that show Girls was exactly how those Williamsburg kids are.
Yeah.
Like they don't know how privileged they are.
Right. It's like eerily on point.
So
That was, and the new one takes place in England.
oh, all right. I mean, we're gonna add it to our queue, if you will.
It's very very entertaining, and you could say different things about the young culture, like they're too much like this or they're too much like that, but it that doesn't take away with how entertaining the show is.
Right.
Do you have any reality shows that you watch that are that you can get into at all?
Oh, well, if I can stand it, I watch this one called My 600-Pound Life.
You know what? It's
You follow that dude.
no, I'm actually following this dude on Instagram who he weighs like around 600 pounds, but he's like, I'm just watching his journey into losing weight, and it's like inspiring. Yeah, it's pretty.
Sure.
But that show has nothing to do with that.
No, I'm just saying, what are the odds you're following?
I'm not a hater on people's body fat. I'm not a hater.
No,
I'm not a
obviously
hater.
not.
For the record, thick girls are awesome. Yeah.
It's true. We all have those shows that we.
Paula and I have a ton of
so many.
of
it's like
guilty pleasures, if you will.
Guilty pleasures.
Sometimes it's just nice to watch a show that has no agenda. They're not talking about anything. It's just, I don't know, mindless just to watch.
Well, yeah. Have you ever tried to watch Dateline?
No,
Not in a
really, really long time.
Well, it is perfect for going to sleep. Like, there is zero intellectualism in it. It will put you right to sleep. Like, yeah, that's like, you know what that is? Things like Dateline and Forensic Files are like white noise.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good way to put it.
It's like it'll put you right to sleep. And there's something that, especially you guys are mature people with kids and everything. There's something to be said about putting your brain to sleep.
Yeah.
Oh,
I look forward
for
to
sure.
it.
I look forward to not thinking because I have to think.
It's pretty awesome, right?
Yes.
Like, I put my brain to sleep maybe almost every night.
I love
That's
it.
a good thing. I put my
to
brain to sleep, but that's powered by weed.
Okay. Well, we're a family show, but that's not against the law.
It is not against the law.
No.
We talked a lot about 90s, right? And the influence that decade had on us. Have you watched what was it called? Mid-90s, written by Seth, not Seth Rogen, but what's the other? Who directed it? He wrote and directed it was
Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill. Thank you.
Jonah. Oh, those two
My
are
bad.
confused.
But they are.
I did watch it more than once, and I found it very accurate.
They did.
Yes.
I think they did a really, really great job of kind of.
I found it very accurate in not only the fashion and the music, but these kids were like experimenting with their sexuality too young.
Oh, like, but that was that time, man. Like,
yeah, like too young, like sexuality at too young an age.
Yeah.
And in that movie, they have a little bit of that. Like the 13-year-old kid, like has a little bit of an experience with a 15-year-old girl.
Right.
And like that's how it really was.
Mm-hmm.
And in my opinion, that's too young.
Way too young, 100%. I think, but that's the kind of, I think, the beauty of this new generation too, is that they're still kids, man. They're still having fun and doing stuff like that. Where again, like when we were 14 or even 13, we were catching train rides and skateboarding and doing all kinds of stuff.
And our parents started that with us, because our parents were like, here's the doors open, go play.
Yeah. It was a punishment to be inside. We wanted to. I think fun, man. I loved every day was an adventure. You got on your skateboard or your bicycle and you just went and experienced it.
Well, you know,
really interesting.
our boomer parents experienced that too. Their parents just let them out of the house to discover like Chuck Berry.
Yeah.
You guys familiar?
Yes. I love
Well, they
Chuck.
just like let them out of the house to like learn about rock and roll. And
Yeah.
like that would not be done today.
Yeah. So what, like it, when I think about that and like we talk about these movies and all these things, like, isn't it, I find it always cheesy for me to say, but I really feel like music and like all the activities we did, whether it was like the skateboarding, whatever, music really was kind of a soundtrack to us. Like it was
Yeah.
integral to daily life.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just don't feel it as much these days. But it's, you happen to, I bumped into this and I listened to this and it's like, what do you have on your phone and what but it's like people aren't getting into it and experience.
Well, it's like I said, but with the music being your soundtrack, it's like I said, in the 90s, it was like, are you a skater? Are you a raver? Are you a punk? Are you a hardcore kid?
Yeah.
And we, of course, we rejected the preppies.
Yeah.
Like we rejected even those of us that were preppy. We still rejected the culture of preppies.
Yeah.
You would never admit you're a preppy. I know, you would never admit that. You would never admit that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I'd like to know also, outside of creating music, do you work with younger kids, younger DJs? Do you mentor them? Do you like, or maybe in the production process with artists and
Yeah.
you
There's
try to
only
teach them?
there's only one kid that I know that really knows about records. Vinyl. There's one kid. He's 15 now.
Yeah.
And I give him DJ lessons for free.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that.
That's
Yeah.
really cool.
There's only one of them though. It's not typical for a 15-year-old to be into like real, like digging for real record.
Do you think that's just due to like just how times have changed in general, or do you think it's a little bit of fear? Like, do you have any?
Well, first it was FM radio, and then it was internet radio, and now the internet radio isn't even that big. There's just now Spotify is the radio.
It is the radio. You're right. Yeah.
So Spotify is the radio now for these kids.
Yeah.
And so for a kid to really love vinyl at age 13, that's not typical.
Yeah.
No, and it's
When I-
awesome. Like we try to get our kids to get into. I mean, it may do to some capacity, but not. Our daughter listens to records every day.
But I tell this kid, he doesn't know what he's going to do in music. He doesn't know if he's going to do music professionally. But I tell him like that you have everything it takes to do something.
Right.
Of course. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Because he does. He's going to do something. I can tell.
Yeah.
Like, he's 15, I think now. I think I can tell he's going to do something.
I
Yeah.
think that's fantastic.
Yeah. And I mean,
Yeah.
every kid, every person should have some level of music in their life every day. I think it's like, you talk about learning an instrument, learning whatever, singing, whatever it is. I don't care. But like, I feel like it develops a part of your brain to just be exposed to music
Yeah.
on a daily basis, one way or the other, and then to actually be really into it.
And if the podcast is coming to an end, I'd like to give some shout outs and also promote some of my stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
that was
always
the
ask
next
that.
thing.
Yeah. So,
Okay. So this guy right here, if you can wait, let me just see if I can.
Got it.
Can you see that?
I can.
Maybe. So that's a vinyl. This is a 12-inch vinyl that came out last fall. That's called KidGinseng I Go Off. So if you know hip hop, you say like, "Oh, I'm gonna go off," or "You went off."
Yeah.
Anyway, that came out last fall. So this one is on my label. It's another artist called the Remora, which you can stream. And what I brought out for you guys is my first DJ tape.
Oh, I love it.
Oh.
That's awesome, dude.
So Brad Smith never heard this. This is like This is kind of after Brad went off to Pratt Institute.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah. 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 That is
So that's
Awesome. dude.
cool.
that's my first tape, and I repressed it in 2019.
Oh, very cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, look, I made it super classy. Like I have like a yellow tape, yellow tape. Yeah, yellow J card. And like really, really, really charming.
Well, you know what?
And
Boom boxes are making their way back. Obviously, record players are making them way back. So
yeah. Well, you know who has the cassettes are the goth people, or you can say post punk,
yeah.
or you can say synth, because in the early 80s in England there were bands making cassettes who couldn't afford to make vinyl.
Right.
So
Yeah.
so some of them buy the cassettes. If you want cassettes, go to Material World in Bushwick. And we're in a Fairfield minute, so I want to promote Dave Schneider from the Zambonis and Jimmy's Army Navy.
Jimmy's Army and Navy.
So Dave owns Jimmy's Army Navy.
I did not know.
He owns Jimmy Army Navy.
mean-
So I love Jimmy's. I love Dave. Also in Bridgeport, Berlinetta Brewing Company.
Yeah.
Have you heard of it?
Love that.
Yeah.
I know the owners of that.
Yeah. Their space is really, really
And-
nice.
Very cool.
They're completely like
It's-
unplugged. I love it. I love it.
I love it too. And also there's I think it's in downtown Fairfield now. The restaurant Wild Rice has come back.
Oh my God, we've already eaten there twice.
The new one?
Yeah.
New-
Yeah.
Where
Something magic
exactly,
going around here.
where exactly is the new one?
So it is, you know where Chef's Table moved?
I don't know where they moved. They've had so many locations.
I know. Between Chef's Table and like Kelly and crew, they're like smack dab right between them.
Yeah, you know the part of the post road where it has that second part where you can go up?
You mean the transfer from Southport into Fairfield?
No. They're more down. They're
Listen.
past downtown. On the left in like a shopping plaza.
It's like
Oh, are they near? Oh, also shout out to Gary at Super Duper Weenie.
Oh, I love Super Duper
Love-
Weenie.
Yep, Gary at Super Duper Weenie. I support him. Who else is cool that I support? And also like it's not Fairfield, but it is Fairfield County. Cafe 9 in New Haven.
Yeah, of course. Yep.
Yeah, I headlined their Electro Halloween party in 2024.
Oh, very cool, man. That's
So
awesome.
the main dance promoter in New Haven is called Heatsink.
Okay.
So they have these parties at Cafe called Heatsink, and those are my friends from Brooklyn from over 10 years ago. And so Cafe 9's dope, Heatsink. Yeah, pretty much New Haven has stuff happening now. It took what? 40, 50 years for serious electronic music to get to New Haven, but it happened. Kraftwerk played there. I saw them. I think it was at it might have been at College Street Music Hall.
Sure.
probably.
I saw them there. That was the first, because I used to have a chip on my shoulder about Connecticut. Like, you guys don't have any electro. Like, you guys don't have any. And then Kraftwerk came to play in like 2022 or 23. So that was like the beginning of electro in New Haven. Kraftwerk came to town. And a lot of the stuff that Heatsink plays is house music, but like early primitive jack in house. Like you call that early house jack music. Anyway, they're if you want to know Connecticut where I am, that's my scene is Cafe 9.
That is so cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's my scene now. It's where I like. And New Haven, in some ways, is even cooler than Bushwick now.
Oh, I love New Haven, man. It's fun. It's fun to go. Pal and I went a couple months ago.
For DJs who play vinyl trying to get a gig, it only just started there 3 years ago. Like if you're DJing an upscale bar with CDJs, then they've had that for a long time. But
Mhm.
for vinyl, for vinyl and for like a freaky scene where people look all different ways and there's no judgment, that really only just started there a couple years ago. So like there's, I think New Haven is a new Bushwick, because you go to Bushwick now and there are less opportunities than there were, 7 years ago, let's say. Like
Wow.
things are more established in Bushwick now. There are definitely less opportunities than 10 or 15 years ago.
Yeah.
But like New Haven still has opportunities.
I'm
So
glad to
for
hear that.
yeah. Yeah, because that's what it's really about, is people giving opportunities like you guys are doing with me.
Oh my God.
Like there
Likewise, my friend.
there are less opportunities in Bushwick now than there was 10, 15 years ago.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, there are less opportunities now.
Are
And,
you are you still in town, or are you living in?
I'm in Fairfield.
Oh, you're in Fairfield. Okay,
I'm
cool.
in Fairfield. I've always commuted to New York to play, and yeah, it's because I'm trying to be economical.
Fair enough. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, New York is not cheap. Not that Connecticut's any cheaper at this
Well,
point.
no, and my brother like finally explained. Like I remember when I was 14, I read A Tale of Two Cities, and I couldn't understand a word. But if you go to Brooklyn and Bushwick and all that, if you go there now, you see a lot of people having fun.
Yeah.
You see a lot of stuff going on, but they're really a lot of like tech people. They're like
Sure.
all rich. And my brother explained to me, he said, the first line of A Tale of Two Cities, it says, it was the best of times, it was the worst,
The worst
of
of times. Yeah, man.
So people in Bushwick are now having the best of times, and they can afford everything. And they're something like, I don't want to get too political, but 25% of New York has nothing. They have
Why?
no opportunities, no money, no nothing. And then you have people just living it up.
Yeah.
And they're not living it up in like upscale bars. They're like in the underground clubs slumming it.
Yeah.
They're like people, there's a lot more slumming it than there was.
Interesting.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when you talk, it used to be like, oh, Williamsburg, that's upscale. But now you see Bushwick, and now that's upscale. Yeah.
How things change.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we have taken a lot of your time. We appreciate it.
Oh my God.
I know. We've been chatting for a minute.
So, if anyone who doesn't do the vinyl thing or anything like that wants to find me, just look up KidGinseng on Spotify.
Love it.
Roger that.
Just support that, I guess. And that's really all people really need to know.
Awesome, man.
it.
Well, Robin, thank you for taking time to chat with us today, man, and
Yeah.
telling us about your life. It was awesome. We really appreciate it.
Well, you guys are going above and beyond.
Oh,
Oh,
thanks.
You guys are going above and beyond the Call of Duty by featuring me. I really appreciate that.
well, we don't
know.
feel that way. We
We-
think everyone has a story. We just want to tell it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
But
we
but
love-
really shout out to PJ Pitcher for hooking me up with you.
For sure.
Chris, I might have seen you in person in the skate days.
Oh, I'm sure you have. For sure, dude.
Do you remember when the Nice Police set up the Marina skate park?
Yeah, when it was all wooden ramps.
Well, it wasn't like a big skate park. It was just a nice place that they set us up with.
And there were some wood ramps and some hay.
Yeah, there people brought some ramps, but I probably saw you there.
Oh my God, absolutely. I'm sure our paths crossed for
Right?
sure. Yeah, definitely. It's Fairfield.
Well, do you remember Chuck Roach?
Yeah, dude. He's one of my best friends in the world.
Yeah, I remember him. He
Like-
was one of the older cool kids. He was cooler than me, older than me. You remember Jake Best?
Of course.
He was cooler than me, older than me.
Our
remember
paths
Brian-
definitely crossed, Robin. Huh?
Do you remember Brian Vendley?
Yeah, man. I actually reconnected with Brian Venley about 10 years ago. Unfortunately, my mother died of ALS, and he was so kind, and he donated money in her name, which was pretty awesome.
That's beautiful. Well, he and his brothers with Dave Venley, who I grew up with since we were 9.
Or was it Dave? It was one of the brothers. I can't remember off the top.
Well,
Like, oh
Dave
my
I
God.
grew up with since I was 9, and we used to sleep over in his basement. And Brian and Chuck were the cool kids, and now they all own this multi-million-dollar business, Calexico.
Yeah, they have in New York too. They have like awesome like Mexican inspired bars and stuff. It's really awesome. Yeah.
But they have a chain of them,
Yeah.
like internationally.
Oh, I didn't realize they were. That's so cool. Yeah.
And I remember when they started with a food cart in Soho.
It's awesome. It really is. It's really so cool. And just generous, man. I hadn't seen him in real life probably from God knows how long. And I just thought it was so kind that he donated in my mom's name for ALS, which was pretty awesome.
And that was Dave?
I think it was Dave. Yeah. It's terrible to say.
Yeah.
I remember, because also like my old Facebook I got locked out of. So I haven't kept in touch with anybody in so long because I can't get back into it.
Sure.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, we have to get together one of these days, just in general, man, and grab a coffee or something at Las Vegas.
We should go to Wild Rice or something like that.
Oh yeah. Don't fret. We should a good time.
Yeah, we should do that. Do they still have every kind of Asian food?
They do.
Insane.
Yeah.
They did not.
Oh my God. The first order we did was like ridiculous. We got like everything that we loved. Like it was
Cool.
Yeah.
So
it was so awesome.
Is it still Henry the owner? or is
Henry
it still?
still, yeah.
He remembers everybody.
I hope
cool.
he remembers you, because I love Henry. I had a food relationship with Henry.
Well, he also remembered Paula for when she used to work in Norwalk, and he was partners with the Wild Rice back then. So he remembered her from there. So even when he came to Fairfield at the old location, he remembered us as well. He's such a good dude. Yeah,
For sure.
absolutely.
Everybody.
Cool. Well,
Yeah.
you guys, thanks for taking the time to talk to a younger, less cool kid.
Oh, stop. Not at all. Not at all. You're
Oh my God,
awesome.
we
This
appreciate
is
you,
so
Robin,
fun.
and we'll get Wild Rice soon. That'll be great.
That'd be great, and I hope this edit comes out good.
It will,
no doubt about
100%.
that, man.
All right, take care, you guys. Have a good rest of your week. Take care.
Dude,
Thank you.
Yep. Later, child. What's her name?
Anna Sophia.
Anna Sophia. Take care. Study
Thank
hard in school. It's cool to study. I did. I studied. It's cool to study.
It is cool to
And
study.
she loves music. She loves singing too. So she was really interested to.
Here
Cool.
we
Well, hip her to my music.
will.
And it's G-rated. I have no profanity in my music.
I love that. That's important.
Yeah. Profanity is overrated. You don't really want to drop the F-bomb too much.
No, only if you want to prove a point. Get it
Yeah.
over into the end zone.
Help me.
All right, you guys, take care.
Peace out.
Bye.
Later.
Later.
Bye.